Now, Marcus Rashford is another player that has been linked with Arsenal heavily. Reports have come out today claiming that Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, and Marcus Rashford have held talks or conversations about a potential move. There is mutual interest, according to reports, between Arsenal and Marcus Rashford. Mikel Arteta likes him very much, and the player would be willing to join, but Manchester United would be the problem. They wouldn't really want to sell to an Arsenal at the moment. There's a lot going on with Marcus Rashford. The fans' reactions is very split. Many fans think he's finished. Many fans think Mikel Arteta can save his career like he saved Xhaka, Odegaard and Kai Havertz. And there is a lot to talk about in terms of his price tag, contract, and his inconsistencies as a player. The first question I want to ask you with Marcus Rashford: do you think he walks into this Arsenal starting 11?
Nah, I don't think he walks into the Arsenal starting 11. Last season's Rashford, maybe. But even then, Martinelli was playing very, very well. Now, he brings a lot of different options. Before answering that question, I still feel like we need someone on the right side more, or someone who's going to play both sides. I know we like the likes of Vashele, want someone to help out, the likes of Martinelli, the likes of Leao could work out as well. Is he a starter? I don't think so. If he's a start, it's just because of the name, like Southgate, he just starts because of the name. Martinelli's numbers this season decreased, but you still know how good of a player he is. I mean, if he had a second bad season, then you'd be like, oof, then that is concerning. But I think Martinelli, on his day, he can do it. I think Trossard, on his day, in terms of goal scoring, he can do it. But I do think Rashford is a very, very good player. In terms of, if you're to list like 10 different abilities, I think maybe him and Trossard could be at the top. In terms of pace, obviously Martinelli and Rashford, I put them on the same. In terms of dribbling past players, I think I would potentially go for Rashford. In terms of scoring goals as well, it depends on what you're looking for. If it's just goals, I think you go for Rashford and Trossard. If it's just like pace and just, getting in behind and all that combination, play the likes of Jesus, I think Martinelli would be better. That's a difficult question.
Yeah, it is. It is a very because
I don't want to say Rashford, yes, to remove Trossard, Rashford, yes. I don't think so. I'd say rotation. I think he has a bit of qualities that Trossard has, and he also has a bit of qualities that Martinelli has, and then they also have a few that this guy doesn't have.
Exactly. So let's talk about him as a player in this Arsenal setup, and maybe why Mikel Arteta likes him. You've talked about his ability to do a Trossard and a Gabriel Martinelli. He's got the pace, he's got the ability to shoot outside the penalty area, he's got that ability to finish. Like we saw last campaign, he could get into the penalty area centrally and finish. What do you think Mikel sees in him? I mean, it's not the first time we've been linked with him, right? Even before he had a very good season last season, we were linked with him. Even after having a bad season this season, we've been linked with him. What do you think Mikel sees in this guy? And probably or potentially, because it's going to cost you at least 70 million or 65 million, do you think Mikel Arteta would look at him as another Kai Havertz? I am bringing him to start on the left wing and create another redemption story.
I don't think Rashford has been damaged as much as Havertz was damaged at Chelsea.
Yeah.
And I've always said I don't think Rashford is a bad player. I always say every time we play Man United over the last 4 or 5 years, I'm usually like, is Rashford playing? Is Rashford playing? Because he's the one that I'm worried about. Not because he's a Ronaldinho or name or anything like that.
He turns up.
I think it's mainly because of that, pace and, ability to just get the ball and he can score a goal. He can turn to his right foot and score a goal. Like if he gets a shot off, he can score a goal if you're not careful. So I think he has more goals than Martinelli. I mean, he used to be a central striker. So we've seen him getting numbers in terms of a lot of numbers last season, especially.
Actually, both of his best seasons, he has scored 17 goals in both of his best seasons. 17 goals.
Saka got 16 in the league this past season, so Saka's never scored more than that. And Martinelli came close last season. Martinelli and Odegaard and all those guys came close. But if has Rashford done it twice? The 17?
Twice. I think so, 19 and 23.
If you've done it twice, I think that's a better something to look at. Now, what does Mikel Arteta see in him? I think he sees a lot of things. One, I think he sees versatility. A player who can play on the left side and maybe as a striker. Some games you just need a pace. Just imagine Martinelli, Rashford, and Saka running at you in terms of when you need trying to counter attack. Like that Tottenham away game when you were trying to counter attack them a lot of times. A game like that, Rashford and Martinelli could completely destroy them. He also sees the talent. The talent is there. The ability is there. The ability has never been lost. He can score goals. He can assist. He can, the pace. He can take on defenders. He can give trouble to the fullbacks and all that. He can definitely do that. So I think Arteta also sees that. I think another thing Arteta sees is not just 1 or 2 years of Premier League experience. He sees Premier League experience for 8 years since 2016. So he's used to all of those, Brentfords and Man Cities and all that. I think another thing Rashford does well is every time I watch him play against Arsenal, he scores. I watch him playing against Man City, he scores. I watch him playing against Chelsea, he scores. Against Liverpool, he scores. He scored against all of those teams. I know Saka has done that as well. I think another thing he sees is an international player who's played at the World Cup, played at the Euros, and made an impact for his team. Now but there's negatives as well. I'm sure he sees that as well, and that is the attitude and stuff. Now I don't know if that is something to do with just Man United and everything that has been going on, and changing the managers and trouble with the managers. That's something that that he has. But also there's another part of the personality. That thing people make fun of him feeding kids and all. Maybe I just see someone like here, someone can fit into the culture and they can take it. Responsible.
That's very responsible.
That's the word, responsible. He can take action, and we want players who can take responsibility, as you said. Even from defenders, 4 or 5 years ago, Mustafi would make a mistake. He'd look at everyone else. For example, these days, Saliba makes a mistake. It's like, I've made a mistake. And everyone cheers him up. Let's go. Raya makes a mistake. He knows he's made a mistake. No problem. Rice has made a couple of mistakes this season. Yeah. He holds his hand up. I've made a mistake. You go on. You take accountability and you go on. So he needs to be responsible as well. So the only thing is attitude, but I think that can be fixed. But I think Arteta sees all that. Premier League experience, a bit of versatility in terms of left, right, and central. We can score goals. That's more goals to the team. And maybe a big game play as well. Who knows? And maybe a rotation or competition, because I think if someone like Rashford came in, I don't know how that will be met by Trossard and Martinelli. Do you feel like if they're bringing in Rashford? Because I don't want Martinelli and the likes of Saka to feel like we're not really wanted at Arsenal. I don't want that to ever cross their mind anytime soon. I want them to know like, hey, we need them here. But we did a video earlier and you talked about players at Man City talking about, I've played 20 plus games. Yeah. If all of them have played 20 plus games and they'd want to stay as well, that is absolutely fine. But as you said again, it's mixed. There is the response from fans is mixed. Some people are like, nah, Rashford is not going to do it. No, I think he can definitely do it in the Premier League. He's done it. Even in the Champions League, big goals against the likes of PSG. I think he's done it.
Yeah, I don't even think we need to put him amongst the finished players, right? Yeah, because if you say Marcus Rashford is finished, I think you're wide off the mark. I think you're really, really wide off the mark. However, there are some problems to his game. Like one of the things I always talk about Marcus Rashford is inconsistency. He's had a good season, a bad season, a good season, a bad season, and then a good season and then a bad season. So if he can maybe string together. Right, he's one player. He's just 24. I think 24, 25. Maybe
25, I think.
25, 26. And the level of experience, he's played 9 Premier League seasons. 9 Premier League seasons. That is very, very rich in terms of his CV. Yeah, in terms of CV and also in terms of experience. So maybe Mikel Arteta is looking at him as like, you've had 6 managers ever since Alexander Chapman leaving. Man United. You have 6 different managers. Managers, some of them believed in you, some of them played you because you're Marcus Rashford, and all this. Maybe what if you had a more stable project? What if you had a more stable manager for 4 years? Could you be much better? Now, when I look at him, 70 to 75 million, I don't think that is money that comes into backup. I don't think Arsenal spending 75 million. We've not done it. Maybe that would be our first time. But think about all the players we have bought for 45 plus million. Timber will be a starter. Ben White, 50 million. He's been forced in right back and he's done very well. Like anything 45 and above million are Arsenal. you are a starter. Whether you're Kai Havertz and you're struggling, whether you're Declan Rice and you're brilliant, you are a starter in this team. So I think Marcus Rashford for me, and seeing Gabriel Martinelli being tried out at right wing,
Yeah.
that sends a message that maybe if he gets a Marcus Rashford, he would start him on the left wing, and then Gabriel Martinelli would start, deputizing as a striker, because we have heard that in training he's played there. Then he can deputize at right wing and left wing as well. So I'm not really sure whether you think left wing is where we are, more in need, or right wing. But personally, I would want to for the left wing. If you're going to sign someone as a backup, don't sign anyone. It's okay. I want a significant change. If you're going to disrupt the establishment on the left wing, like go for Rafa Leao, I will understand. Go for Kavica Kvaratskhelia, I will understand. Right wing, that's where you need a little bit of backup. I think you spend around 35 to 40 million, and then you bring in someone who can actually play with, with Saka. So United would, yeah.
Okay, let me add to that. So, by the way, I don't like Martinelli on the right wing. I've not really liked him that much. I mean, the Everton game at the end of the season, it was okay, but I don't like him at right wing. Trossard has actually played at right wing for Belgium. He plays there, so I'd like to see him getting tried there. Now, another thing about Rashford, it could be the winning mentality. I don't like saying this, Man United have won things, but they have. FA Cup this season, Carabao Cup, he's won the Europa League and all that. That's another thing. But go ahead with what you're saying.
Yeah, sure. So, the pricing 70 to 75. People have told me they would be willing to splash 30 to 40. I was watching Harry Symeou and he said maximum 40 million. Maximum 40 million.
For Rashford?
How much would you? Yeah, 40 million. How much would you be willing to go?
I think 40 million is too little.
I also think like for a player whose contract is at 20 I think runs down in 2028, it's a little bit down, and I think it's more of a similar situation to Aaron Ramsdale. I don't think he's as bad as people want to make him.
A 26-year-old English player from Man United, no chance you're going to get him for 40 million.
Yeah.
But I understand why people would say that, a bit of attitude problems. Now, I also understand. Let me tell you something else. It depends on the attitude as well. Because one thing that I also don't love about Rashford is I do see him walking sometimes when he loses the ball. You can't do that at Arsenal. There will be press and all that. That's where now Martinelli and the likes of Trossard could be ahead of him. Now, I don't know how long that will take to change that mentality. I don't like the, walking around and giving away the ball and whatever, just walking. You can't do that at Arsenal. If it changes that and becomes a player who presses and all that, then it'd be in a good place. Now, in terms of money, you've said we don't really spend 75 million for players going to be on the bench. I know you're not in the same level in terms of finance as Man City, but I think that's what you need to do. It must have a player like Grealish 100 million on the bench. They have the likes of Ake 40, 50 million sometimes on the bench. Yeah. Sometimes Guardiola sitting on the bench, 70, 80, 90 million on the bench. Kyle Walker sometimes on the bench, 50 million. Doku doesn't even play. They signed him for 50 million on the bench. Only comes on emergency situations. Yes, we're not in the same financial maybe wavelength as them, but that's what you need to do now. Look at our backups. I don't have a problem. Jorginho has been fantastic for us. Trossard has been fantastic. Let's go to our original first team: Saka, Jesus, Martinelli, and all that. The one that you were using 2 seasons ago. And let's say Trossard was the backup. 25 million, absolutely no problem. It's been great. Jorginho backup, 15 million or something. That's absolutely fine as well. And a few other positions like Kivior, cheaper players. I don't think we have an expensive backup. I don't think you have an expensive backup in any position at all. So I think we need to have at least one or two. And I don't know if that means Havertz on the bench some games, you bring in a 65 million player from the bench, fine. I don't know if that will mean Ben White from the bench, 50 million pound player from the bench. I love all of them. I would love them to start, but I think you also need to have at least one or two players or two positions that we're looking at. We have a 50 million player there and another 50 million on the bench player there. That will be fine because, again, we need to keep on improving. We might sign a striker this season like Isaac and maybe it might not work. So what's the next thing you do? You probably try to get an expensive backup for a certain position and go again. You just have to go again. I don't think Arsenal are not winning trophies because, we are not a good team. It's just because of the team that you're competing with. And we need to keep on improving. And I had Guardiola might leave next season. That would be great. We probably win a couple of trophies after that. But I also want that Arteta beat Guardiola. I also want
Yeah.
that in the CV.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
love that in the CV, and we have to keep on improving the team. So yeah, I see why. How much should I pay for him? I'd say 60.
60. Yeah,
Yeah.
60 is reasonable. 60 is reasonable. Now we're
Yeah.
coming to the end of the show. The last topic we have to talk about, can he save him? Because, I mean, he is Mikel Arteta. He's saved people. He's saved players. Can he save Marcus Rashford? And I think with Marcus Rashford, is what you said. He's not far away from what we want him to be. The only question with him is that the only question about him is that can he actually turn into a consistent season in, season out Mohamed Salah? Like, can he deliver 17 goals? We know he can hit those numbers. He can hit 25 goal contributions. Can he hit those 25 contributions and maybe more for 5 consecutive seasons like Salah has done? So do you see him as that kind of guy that if he plays under a consistent manager, well-organized, education system, he can actually do it?
You've got me thinking already. I'm like, why is Rashford making me this happy? I'm like, Rashford, Martinelli, Saka, that would be incredible. But 26 years of age, I think there is a couple of more years there to improve on a couple of things. Maybe the only thing that's not on our side is time. We just want to win things right away. But as you said, there's already other things that go for him, 9 season experience and all that. Now, can he be that player? I think he can. Now, as I've said, with Arteta and the rest of the coaching team and the team that we have, I mean, that's why I never doubted Havertz. I was like, if it comes to Arsenal, fine. He's going to play next to Odegaard. He's going to have some leadership from Odegaard and from Rice and from Jorginho. It's going to automatically be, a good play, especially if we've seen the ability before. I have no problem that if he joins the team, the other things will be improved. If it's a player who doesn't have the ability, then I don't think Jorginho and Odegaard can, help him to that ability. Maybe, but, not to that kind of level. Can he be that player to go to Salah's level? I think he can. Now, I still feel like Salah and those kind of players and Mane, they're totally different. There's those numbers that they used to put up are absolutely incredible. I don't think too many wingers and midfielders can do those numbers like Ronaldo and Mane and Salah. But if he can put up for you those 15 to 17 goals, again, in a season where you have Saka and Trossard and all those guys, I think I'd be happy with that. Now, Arteta, there's a lot of things that Saka can improve. Arteta's improved a lot of players. I don't think Ben White was this good 3-4 years ago. I don't even think Odegaard was signed early by Madrid, but I think this time he's just improved his game completely. Yeah. So it's about the culture and the mentality. If you join a team that you're being coached by Arteta, the set piece coach is showing you a few things. You have other players who are teaching you a few things. There's competition as well. You feel like if I don't score today, there's Martinelli on the bench, there's Saka on this other wing, is absolutely fine. And speaking of set pieces, I think Arsenal have gone 2 years without scoring a set piece from a free kick. Rashford can score free kick. So if he gets a set piece coach, you can teach that into him as well. Maybe he becomes a free kick taker as well. Who knows? So 60 million, I think he can definitely improve the team. But priority, no. Does he want to be saved? Is he savable? I think he is. 26 years of age. He's not that old. Yeah. I think you can definitely save him. Will Man United sell him to us? There's a part of me that feels maybe if it's the likes of Radcliffe, who are maybe not that connected to Man United, they'd be like, yeah, just sell him. Let's get the money and buy. that would be my dream. But maybe Ferguson and those guys would tell him, nah, don't sell him to Arsenal. But let's see, man. But I think he's savable. But as a priority, I don't know. I feel like if we go and sign Rashford as the first signing, I think at least 50% of the fan base will be like, okay, now this is a kind of a statement signing someone from Man United, and that would obviously kill Man United fans as well. I'd absolutely love that, man.
Sure. Thank you so much for joining us on another podcast episode. Obviously, we've dived into the forward situation. Tomorrow, we'll talk about what happens in midfield. Gimaresh is, of course, on top of the transfer list. I'll be on Glen's channel tomorrow in the morning at exactly 12. So make sure you do watch that video. It will be pinned onto my community. And let us know in the comment box below. What do you think about Marcus Rashford objectively? Yes, you've told me he is not the guy, but most of you don't like him because of, Manchester United and the links to our closest enemy. But if you looked at him as a player, solely, objectively, what do you think about him? My name is Cossy. I've been with Glen. We'll be here right every single day. So make sure you tune in at exactly 9 p.m. every evening, and on Glen's channel at exactly 12 in at midday. We'll always be on. Make sure you check us out. We'll see you soon.